Hello my lovely peaches, and welcome to my very long video. This video is about no saving you. There's no saving you. No one is coming to save you. And I wanted to pop in and say, first of all, for anyone who's already watched some of my videos, you might already know this. But personally, my perspective is manifesting is just a fancy word for living, and co-creating is just a fancy word for relating to people, working with people, living, breathing, doing with people. Manifesting is just living, and co-creating is just how you relate. So that's a little note. Just to be clear, this is the definition of alignment. Dictionary definition of alignment goes here. Okay, enjoy the video. See you on the other side, and I hope this was helpful. So as I'm editing this video, I find it interesting that it never occurred to me until the point of editing the video that religious people often use the term getting saved. You know, Jesus will save you, God will save you, your religion will save you. And I'm, in fact, not even talking about religion in any way in this video. However, when I go and list off all the people who we mentally believe will save us, I do mention the stranger we haven't met yet who's going to swoop in and somehow save us. And I think it's important to just mention at the beginning of this video that could be a religious figure. Maybe you believe that if you surrender somehow to some religious figure, that religious figure will save you. And maybe in a sense, the bigger truth of that is if you're willing to do the work and surrender to a higher power of a sort, like what I'm talking about, surrendering to your higher calling, which you can consider as God, or you can consider it your intuition. But I just wanted to mention that's not going to save you either. You got to do the work. So either way, you're not going to be saved, but you can work with people. The point of this video, which goes along with no one's coming to save you, and then the little clip I'm going to pop in of Isaiah Frizzell and his perspective about it, is that even the idea that someone needs to save you is unhealthy. You want to have a healthy relationship with your levels of introversion and extroversion. For example, I recently came to realize that a lot of people who are extroverted are really just needy motherfuckers, okay? And they mask their neediness with this extroversion, and they think that they're extroverted, but really, motherfucker, you need to get a hobby, or you need to go to therapy, and or both, okay? You are a Klingon who is an energy vampire. No one's coming to save you, but there's plenty of people, now I'm reading, there's plenty of people who will work with you when you have a purpose that aligns with their purpose, and then the little asterisk of who have a purpose that aligns with your purpose. Okay, so they need to have a purpose, if you want to interact with them in a co-manifested, co-created way. Popping into the pop-in to just add that there are some relationships that are so toxic or so unhealthy or so twisted that the only healthy option for you is to move on. And I need to just say that before I get into this whole video where I'm talking about no one is coming to save you yet. There are plenty of people who will work with you when you have a purpose that's aligned with theirs, and asterisks their purpose. They need to have a purpose, and that needs to be something healthy in order for you to be able to even potentially have a healthy relationship with them. But before I get into this half an hour long video, I just wanted to pop in and say, if someone is super unhealthy, even if it's your own biological parents or siblings, children, or, anyone related or not, sometimes the only best option is to move on without them. And that's okay. So I need to just say that before getting into working on relationships where you do have the possibility for something healthy. Sometimes the only healthy option is to move on without them. Don't forget that. Hello, my lovely peaches. Happy Saturday. How are you? Let's see. It's May 27th, 2023. It's almost 1:30. It's 1:29 p.m. And I am relaxing. I was watching season 4 of How to Get Away with Murder, which I only got into like a few weeks ago. Also, I think it's hilarious that I'm mentioning that I was watching How to Get Away with Murder, and then I'm going to pop in 2 clips from the show after, in the middle of editing, and I see Annalise Keating, who is actually Viola Davis, saying this and this.
So stop trying to figure out what's going to make me happy. You don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. But it isn't about finding a person, a man or a woman. I have to figure it out. I have to save me.
Wow.
Forgive and forget. I tried, but... And I don't want to let anyone else in. I just want to be alone.
How the hell are you alone when I'm here?
Because you're packing up to go home, and I'm going to be left here to do what? Save everyone else, even if it kills me? What about me saving myself?
Only by saving everyone else can you save you. Loving your daddy was not for him, it was for me. Because that love filled me up. Just
so you can see, this is, episode 13, season 5, episode 13. It's the Christmas episode, and this is at 32 minutes in.
all you got right now is Nathaniel.
What about me loving myself, Mama? Doesn't it count for anything?
You never love yourself if you hurt people, enemy. We both know that.
That's true too. Cicely Tyson passed away in January.
All right, baby.
Viola Davis.
All right.
Love you. Getting into watching just some Instagram reels. Okay, so there's a guy named Isaiah Frizzell. I'm going to link a clip because I want to talk a little bit about exactly what he's talking about right here.
So if there's one concept I've been trying to get away from is that whole no one's coming to save you mindset, right? It's all on you. And I know a lot of times when it's said, there's a subtext to it. But if you say it to the wrong person who's also been abandoned and people haven't been there for him, it's burdensome, right? We live in a very toxic, individualistic culture. I've realized, I've come to understand. And there's a difference between being self-sufficient, right? And being hyper independent because you've been taught in some way, shape, or form that you can't expect anything from anybody. You just got to do everything on your own. To the point that you don't really even care or consider other people. No one cares about me, so I shouldn't care about other people. That's just the way the world works, right?
So this exact topic, I heard someone else say this the other day, and I actually have heard this multiple times. No one is coming to save you. No one is coming to save you. Get it through your head. No one is coming to save you. And in some way, it can be freeing. It can be the thing that cuts the chain that's holding you back from making the moves because you think someone's coming to save you. It can also be the thing that makes you realize you're on your own, kid. Okay? Nobody's coming to save you. And it can also feel bad, and a lot like Isaiah Frizzell was just talking about, it can be a burden for someone who has already had to do everything by themselves because the people who were supposed to be raising you up and loving you and protecting you and caring for you were actually abusing you. People who are lying to you instead of protecting you. People who are telling you lies for their own benefit and don't care that those lies can and will destroy you, maybe for the rest of your life. Because the people that were supposed to be taking care of you, loving and protecting and helping us to thrive, we're doing the opposite. So I just wanted to pop in to do a video about this because it is true. No one is coming to save you. And if someone does step into your life with this attitude like, I'm going to save you, this might just be my experience, my perception, but it seems to me that people who want to step into this I'll save you role, when another person is in this role of like, please come save me, it tends to be toxic. It tends to be narcissistic. It tends to be the codependent person latching on to some other codependent. It tends to be not healthy. When you even have a mindset when you even have a a mind state of mind, the state of your mind, your belief systems, junky belief systems, unseen beliefs, the things that you don't even recognize that you believe about yourself, that are the cogs and the wheels of the machines of your brain and how you interact with people that you're not even aware of. When you even have a mindset that even thinks those thoughts like, someone's coming to save me, that thought in itself is unhealthy and toxic, because that means that you're not a co-creator and a co-manifester of your own life, that you're basically a victim. That's a victim mentality, that you need someone to save you, to rescue you, to throw out the life raft because you're drowning, kind of thing. And I understand, because I certainly have, gone into fetal position wishing my mom would come and save me. My mom or some other entity, some rich, handsome 6'3.5" guy who's the right age, like, somebody save me, please, pretty, please. Okay, but that's not healthy. So I really appreciate Isaiah Frizzell's opinion and his perspective, which is, my hair is very awkward. I had sprayed it with this hair stuff, and anyway, okay, sorry, distraction. His opinion is very, or his perspective and his message is important. And I want to add to it, which is to say, yeah, no one is coming to save you unless there's some sort of narcissist looking for a codependent person who's submissive and in need of saving, because they probably have nefarious and or unhealthy mind states themselves that make them think that in order for them to be worthy of love, they need to swoop in and save somebody, whatever it is. Or maybe they're not capable of having a healthy, equal relationship with someone who is equally, popping it back in to say and add, we always attract someone who is aligned in the same type of place that we are. So, if you believe that everybody cheats, you're going to attract a cheater. If you believe that the only people out there are abusers, you're going to attract that. If you believe that relationships can be healthy and honest and open with good communication, then you will attract that. And if you start to attract somebody who's not healthy, you will not be attracted and you'll move on. The point of this pop in is to say yes, we do attract and are attracted to our equal, meaning if you're the type of person who believes that you need to be saved, you will be attracted to and attract to you the type of person who has the mentality that they need to be a savior. If you're the type of person who believes that people are whatever, you will attract people that are whatever. We attract to ourselves and are attracted by what we believe in, whether we think we want it or we know we don't want it. We attract where we're at. That's important. If you're not in a healthy state where you can live healthy with someone, like I always say, manifesting is just a fancy way of saying living, and co-creating is just another way of saying having a relationship with someone, or an endeavor or a project, or working with someone, knowing somebody, relating to somebody. You're co-manifesting. An alignment or calibration is just a fancy way of saying where you're at. Whatever you are in the mind of, whatever you believe in, where you're ready to act, what phase you're in, what stage you're in, what level you're at. That's what your alignment is. Your alignment is whatever you're believing and what you're day-to-day doing, and your regular activities, your general state of being. That is alignment. That's what you're aligned with. What you think and feel and do on a regular day-to-day. You're co-manifesting an experience at the grocery store, online, with people who are waiting in front of you, behind you, or whatever, trying to move around you. You're co-manifesting, you're co-creating a relationship, which may be for only seconds, okay? Another way to say it more plainly is you are living and interacting and relating to other people, and you are part of that, and they are part of it, okay? So how you show up to these experiences, how you live your life standing online at the grocery store, how you live your life out and about in the world, driving your car or walking around, doing whatever it is you're doing, working with people, whatever it is you do each day, that's you manifesting and co-creating or living and relating, okay? So the whole idea that someone is coming to save you, first of all, you're a victim. Now you are handing your power over to someone else. Now you are not only handing your power away to somebody else, but now you're also putting the responsibility and the onus on some other outside entity, whether it's somebody you know specifically, my mom, my dad, my husband, my wife, my best friend, my grandma, my boss, my employees. Jesus will save you. God will save you. Your religion will save you. Some stranger that I don't know yet that I'm waiting for to walk into my life. Like, my dream is that, one day, no, actually, I don't want the doorbell to ring because I don't like it when people show up unannounced. So that's not my dream, that somebody will knock on the door and be my perfect guy, because I don't want him showing up at my house unexpected. So, it'd have to be like I'm out and about somewhere and somebody starts a conversation with me, and then somehow that leads to we have each other's contact information, and it just naturally, organically grows into something that obviously becomes friendship, and then it's obvious that it's more. And my fantasy dream is not some sort of spectacular proposal that's out of this world that I could never dream of, but in fact that it's so obvious when I tell people. Well, first of all, when I'm proposed to, or however that's going to go, I want it to be so obvious. The answer is yes, to both of us. And when we share the news to the people in our lives that, we're now going to be a couple, that it's obvious to them, that it's obvious. Meaning, it is such an easy to see, clear, obvious match. Anyone could tell. That's the type of relationship that I want. And again, I'm not looking for somebody to swoop in and save me. Even the idea no one is coming to save you, or someone needs to come and save you, is the idea that you need to be saved, which means you're powerless. You don't have the ability to do it. However, what I think is super unhealthy about this no one is coming to save you concept also fails to recognize that we don't live in isolated silos by ourselves. We don't do anything by ourselves. There's no such thing as a self-made millionaire, self-made billionaire, or self-made anything, because every single thing that we do is interacting with what other people do. Even if you're just ordering something from your computer and it's delivered to your front door, a bunch of other people had to go into the process of getting that thing there to you. So the point is that no one is coming to save you. While it's true no one is coming to save you, there are a whole bunch of human beings out there who are going to, some of them unknowingly, just because they're interacting with you in some way, sort of like the angel investor. They don't even know that you're the person who's going to end up purchasing the thing that they're making or that they're working on or they're producing, but somehow they are involved with you, just like you may be making stuff or working on stuff that someone that you don't even know is going to somehow end up being a beneficiary of the, on the receiving end. But despite the invisible, the non-character player, the NCPs in our lives, the people that we don't even know are interacting in our experiences, there are all the people who we do know are interacting in our experiences. And that's what this message is really meant to be about. That while no one is coming to save you, why would you need somebody to save you if you are working towards creating a life of your own design? You don't need to be saved, but you do need to be interacted with, and you need to be working alongside other people who are also interested in somehow whatever it is that you're doing, whether it's the cashier who's ringing you up and you're interacting because that's her job or his job, and or you're the one interacting, you're the one ringing somebody up, or maybe you're the person putting the stuff on the shelf, or maybe you're the driver who delivered it there, or maybe you're the person who packaged it up, or maybe you're the person who made that point of sale contact with the vendor to be like, you're the manufacturer we're going to use in our plant to make these things, or maybe you're the one in the farm growing the stuff that's being sold. Do you understand what I'm saying? Every point along the way, something being made, whether it's something you're eating or something you're wearing, this is cotton. This was once in a field that somebody had to grow it, and then somebody had to harvest it, and then somebody had to manufacture that, and then somebody had to each step of the way, and then there was the thread that had to be sewn, and then there was the dye that was created, and then once the product itself was all put together, then that thing had to be sold, and then that thing had to be shipped, and then stored somewhere, and then eventually had to get to the warehouse. And I believe I bought this online, so then I had to go onto my computer from my spot and purchase the thing, and then this is the particular one that was selected, and then this was shipped again to me directly, and it had to go from that warehouse to the UPS or the whatever, and then it had to go from there to the place where that driver was going to bring it to me. You know what I'm saying? Every single thing that we have in our lives is connected to countless others who, they didn't necessarily save us, but they did interact with our life and co-create. They co-manifested and co-created, or they did their shit. They went to work and they made what they needed to make, and then we did our thing and we did what we needed to do. And even though we never knew them, you'll never know their face, you'll never know their name, millions and millions of people who you are interacting with on a daily basis in some unseen way, those people are part of your life. And the most important thing that I wanted to say, which I'm going to have to cut this little bit and stick it on the front of the video. The point of this video, which goes along with no one's coming to save you, and then the little clip I'm going to pop in of Isaiah Frizzell and his perspective about it, is that even the idea that someone needs to save you is unhealthy. No one's coming to save you, but there's plenty of people, now I'm reading, there's plenty of people who will work with you when you have a purpose that aligns with their purpose, and then the little asterisk of who have a purpose that aligns with your purpose. Okay, so they need to have a purpose, if you want to interact with them in a co-manifested, co-created way where you and this person are creating a conscious relationship where the two of you are saying, I want to be your friend, I want to be your friend, so let's interact. Okay, well, how does that work for you? What do you need? What do you need? And then you get to find out. Like one of my clients, she's very friendly, and there's a chance that we could be friends, kind of, but she's long distance from me, so it's not like we're going to be in-person local friends. I'm learning about this as well. This is something that I just had a very long conversation with my sister, who I had some problems with recently because my expectation or hope from her did not pan out, and her expectation and hope from me didn't pan out. And so we had different opinions about each other, and the way she said what she said to me made me feel very upset. Like, okay, this is not somebody who I can even have a real relationship with. It's either distance and space, or fantasy of what I wished it was, or heartache, And when we spoke the other day, I realized, like, it doesn't have to be that way. This is my sister, so there's a different caliber, there's a different level of importance to me about our relationship and how much I'm willing to do, but only after she made it clear that she had to initiate it. So I felt like she initiated a breach of my trust, and she hurt me. She said some uncalled for things that were hurtful at a time when I was already down, and I reached out letting her know, hey, I'm struggling, and her choice at that time was to basically kick me when I was down and to throw insults and stuff then, and then turn around and deny that it was negative. And so at that time, it's like I was hurt by what she said, but I was also so clear in my sense of myself that what she's saying is inaccurate, but it's also it's just hurtful. It's not helpful. And at that point, I felt a strong sense of, you're wrong, you're being mean, but I also don't have the time or the energy to try to convince you otherwise, nor do I have the time or the energy to argue with you, nor do I even really have the time or the energy to let the painful shit that you said get me down too much, because I'm already down and I'm low. And if I let you and your hurtful shit bring me even lower, it's only going to make me suffer. And any efforts that I've made trying to get myself up are going to fail, because I'm vulnerable, I'm struggling, I'm stretched thinner than I can be to be optimal energy. And here you come, trying to puncture my heart. Maybe you think you mean well, but this is fucking hurting me. Okay, so I just sort of was just like, I am not, like, you're showing me that I can't be safe around you. So what I'm going to do is just be busy doing my life, okay? And how I felt about my sister was, I'm not going to cut her out of my life forever. I love her. I love her kids. I love our family. I love our connections, okay? but I am not going to run after somebody who's hurt me. And so I felt like if she wants to reach out and apologize, then we'll see where that leads. And it took some time because it's the end of May and it was March when she said that stuff to me. So it's been, 2 months. And at the beginning of this month, she lost her best friend due to disagreements and stuff. I mean, it's not like she's dead. Her friend isn't dead or anything, but a friend that she's known like 40 some years, and they've had a little on and off stuff, but for the last like 20 years, they've been best friends. When my friendship with my sister was suffering and then she said this mean shit to me, I thought to myself, the only time she ever reaches out to me is when she's having problems with her fucking friends. That's it. I mean, sometimes she'll let me know if she's doing an event or this or that, but really, it's like she never reaches out to me. Almost never reaches out to me unless it's because something's happening with one of her friends. And that's exactly what happened. So it was kind of like, oh, wow. Okay, so she did reach out to tell me about her friend. And then, and then she did apologize and stuff to me. And then I was talking about I did start to talk about my friend Star and how she had said stuff that hurt me and so with this guy, Isaiah Frizzell, he also talks about how, an apology, or that if somebody hurts you and then they just let a lot of time go by and they never actually apologize and they just sort of like expect like, well, hey, it's been 6 months since we've chatted, so I don't really need to say sorry. I'm just going to call you and act like nothing happened because it's been so long. And that's what happened with my friend, where she said some extremely hurtful things. And when I told her that was hurtful, she doubled down. And then now, hindsight of knowing what happened, because now months later, 5-6 months later, she calls me and we're chatting. She doesn't say sorry. She doesn't say anything. 20 minutes in, she mentions, oh yeah, remember that guy from the text that, you didn't talk to me for 5 months? Yeah, well, he totally creeped me out a few days later, which was the reason she stopped talking to me, because I said that he gave me a red flag from the thing she sent to me from him to her. And then she turned around and said some nasty shit that hurt me so bad that we didn't talk for 5 months. I basically thought our friendship was over because she hurt me and she made me realize that her feelings for me can shift really dramatically, meaning you totally invalidated me as a person and insulted me extra hard while doing so. Anyway, the point is, like, what I said with my sister was, yeah, I still love this person. We were friends for super long, but it's also made me realize that well, a lot more things than I'm going to necessarily say just in this little video. But no one is coming to save you, that's true. But there are plenty of people who will have relationships with you, who will work with you, who will, live their lives in some way relating with you, whether it's a cashier at the supermarket who's always nice with you and you always pick that person's line because, you always get along well, or whether it's the person that you work with or friends, your family, your parents, your children, your siblings, aunts, uncles, nieces, nephews, grandparents, cousins, new people you haven't met yet. All of these people in our lives, if we look at people like, I'm a victim that needs to be saved, or I'm somebody who needs to save others, and you're out there, on the prowl looking for a victim in need of being saved, that's not even healthy. That is extremely unhealthy and toxic. So of course, if you have that mind state, you're going to attract and be attracted to and by unhealthy people with that idea. So if you have a mind state that says healthy relationships are co-manifested and co-created, or healthy relationships are lived together with other people in a way where we're both being healthy, which means we're not having unreasonable expectations of others or ourselves. We're not thinking someone else is going to swoop in and do it all for us or to save us financially or emotionally. No one's coming in to heal your emotional traumas for you. No one's coming in to, put $3, $4, $5 million in your bank account just because you're cute, without it coming with some major sacrifices or, things that you must do. Nothing is coming for nothing, okay? If you want a healthy relationship, or if you want healthy relationships with yourself, with your family, with your friends, or you want to make new friends that are healthy, if you want a healthy relationship with money, you want a healthy relationship with your body, you want a healthy relationship with your home, with your chores and your errands, you want a healthy relationship with food and with exercise, you want a healthy relationship with your hobbies, or you don't have any hobbies, you need to develop some hobbies. You want to have a healthy relationship with your levels of introversion and extroversion. For example, I recently came to realize that a lot of people who are extroverted are really just needy motherfuckers, okay? And they mask their neediness with this extroversion, and they think that they're extroverted, but really, motherfucker, you need to get a hobby, or you need to go to therapy, and or both, okay? You are a Klingon who is an energy vampire. You're a leech. You're an energy parasite. You think that you're friendly and outgoing and outdoorsy or adventurous, and you're just a fucking a parasite who doesn't have anything to offer except, let me plug into your fucking energy source. And I'll call it extroversion, and I'll call it friendship and socializing. But really, you know what? You are just sucking the life out of people, because you don't know how to get to your own business of generating your own energy for your own reasons, for your own joy, meaning have your own purpose. Okay, so the ultimate point of this is to say, if you want to be saved, then you're going to attract unhealthy people who are looking for victims. Or if you want to be a savior, then you're going to attract unhealthy people who are playing the victim. If you want to have a healthy relationship with your body, with your mind, with your emotions, with money, with food, with your physical health, with human beings, then you will need to, number one, work on yourself being healthy. So that means you've got to do the work. That's your curriculum for your growth, which is get your mind right. Stop looking to other people to get your mind right. Get your mind right. Now, yes, of course, you can align with people who have a purpose, and you can learn from teachers who've been there, or teachers who have excellent ways to teach you how you can get your mind right. So in that sense, you're not going to do it all by yourself. You're not going to save yourself by yourself. You're going to need people to link up with who can help you get your mind right, get your body right, get your emotions right, get your money right, get your house right, get whatever it is that's not right, get it right. But the point is, there are people who will work with you. There's always people working with you. They're either working with you, or they're working against you, or they're silently or loudly working in the background, and you may not even realize that they're working with you. But we can hone in on healthier relationships, learning how to relate to people in more intentional ways, like not looking to my sister to swoop in and save me and heal me and make everything right, not looking to my mom to swoop in and pay my bills and clean my house and come and cradle me in her arm and rock me to sleep. I might wish that stuff was true. I might wish my brother would come and lift everything heavy and get it out of here, and then, let me cry on his shoulder and somehow make me feel like, I have a strong protector who's always going to be there for me. Like the dad I never had. Like the mom bond that I never had the way I wished. Like the sister relationship that is never what I had always wished and hoped. But that doesn't mean it can't be what it can be. I can let my sister and my brother and my mother be the people who they genuinely are. And I know they love me and they want some type of relationship. So I can work with them together. Like my purpose is to have a healthy relationship with them. If they're healthy enough for that to be feasible, then I can work with that. I can't force them to be people in my fantasy, just like SP. I had an idea of who this person was and what I thought we could be together. And for many years, that fantasy of that specific person, maybe that was kind of wrapped up in this like idea of like, okay, the no one's coming to save you. So maybe I had a fantasy that he was coming. He was going to come and not necessarily save me, but, be the man and then save me. I don't know. But now I'm able to say, wow, that person was a friend of mine years ago. And he's a specific person who literally has his own life and his own intentions and his own purpose and his own everything. And it has nothing to do with me. And he's chosen to continue living his life without me in it, and that's fine. And I got stuck in a loop of a fantasy of the fantasy of what I thought we had, which wasn't never actually real, and I just got hooked into that little fantasy bubble where I finally realized, once I finally woke up from the spell, or another way to put it, once I finally allowed myself to get to the levels, once I was finally at the place where I could open up enough to get to the levels of facing my own trauma to heal it more, then I was able to see that this fantasy of this specific person and this, beautiful marriage idea, life together, family thing, was literally just a bubble of a dream that was just me. He wasn't in there. And now, by allowing myself to release this fantasy of him coming to save me, or another way to say it, releasing this fantasy of him realizing that I'm the one for him and stepping into my life and then becoming the one who's going to co-manifest with me, I'm realizing there's plenty of people out there. There are plenty of men who want to be a dad and a husband and a power couple with a beautiful, capable, hardworking woman who wants to have more and also love where I am, and also wants to continue growing. And I believe that there are people out there who would align with that. So nobody's coming to save me, but there are friends who want to be friends that I can meet and have a healthy relationship with. So get out of the idea that somebody's coming to save you and start getting into the idea that the more you align with being a healthy person, the more you can find other people who are healthy. I did want to make this other video getting more in depth about like a part 2 of we are always aligned, but with what? And to talk more about alignment and how we can be aligned with what we don't want. Because being aligned just means that's just what you're focused on. But I'm going to save that for another video. All right, bye. See you on the other side, and I hope this was helpful.